One thing that you may want to do is actually be able to create a certificate that you can use with a web server and have it look as though it's the certificate for a web server that you're trying to spoof. So what you need to be able to do is generate a self-signed certificate. And people are so used to seeing certificate errors for one reason or another that if they see this rogue certificate, it may not actually occur to them that what they're getting is a fake certificate rather than the real certificate. They'll just click through the certificate error and go on their merry way. Now, I'm actually cheating a little bit. I'm using a web page here in order to refresh my memory in terms of how to generate a self-signed certificate. It's not something I do on a daily basis, and so I don't keep the list of commands right in my head. So there are plenty of pages around that actually will walk you through how to do this, and I'll explain what it is that we're doing as we're going along. So what I want to do here is I'm going to use OpenSSL, and I'm doing this under Linux, although OpenSSL works under a variety of operating systems, but I'm just doing this under Linux because that's where I happen to be at the moment. So I'm going to generate an RSA key, and RSA is the 3 letters for the 3 guys who were responsible for coming up with the algorithm. And I'm going to do a key here, and I'm going to call it server.key, and I'm going to make the key length 1024 bits. So it's asking me for a passphrase, and I'm just going to give it a passphrase. Now what I need to do is generate a signing request. So I'm going to use OpenSSL again, and I'm going to do a request that's a new request. I'm going to say the key is the server.key that we just generated, and the output is going to be the server, and that should be the certificate signing request. I'm going to shrink that back again. And now I'm going to type in the passphrase that I had used, and now it's asking me to give information about the certificate. So I'm going to give it some information here. So now here's where I'm going to give it the fully qualified domain name of the server. So right here I'm going to use the domain name that I actually want to pretend to be in this case. And so now I could just say that's the email address. It's not actually going to email anything. It's just information that's stored in the certificate. So now I've got a signing request, and now what we need to do is we actually need to generate the certificate. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to do OpenSSL again. We're asking for an X509 certificate. It's a certificate request. The number of days, you could set this to anything you want. I'm going to make it 10 years just for fun. And the input is going to be the certificate signing request, and it should ask me for, it should be looking for some output at this point, as well as the sign key. So dash sign key is going to be server.key, and the output is going to be the server certificate. And it's asking me for the passphrase for the key, which we had plugged in earlier. And now I should have the server.crt. So I can actually look at that server certificate. And I'm going to say X509. And I want it output in a text format. And I'm going to say server.crt. So now I've actually got the information here in the certificate. I've got all of the information that I plugged in, and now I could actually use this certificate with a web server, and it would appear as though the certificate were being used with the server that we've specified here, which is www.washere.com. So I could do a rogue web server that looked as though it were that website, and it would present that certificate saying, hey, that's for this website, even though I wasn't actually sending you to that website. I may send you to something that looked like that website. So I could register a domain name, www.washere, for example, and then send you to www.washere.com. That's one way maybe of doing that sort of rogue server situation. And here I would need this spoofed certificate in order to pretend to be that and actually give you encryption capabilities and maybe some more authenticity. Hey, guess what? It's encrypted, there's a certificate, all of that sort of thing. So that's how you would do some spoofed certificates, or that's one way of doing spoofed certificates.